It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome a football star who was a king at his craft. He played his college ball at Fort Valley State before he joined the Oakland Raiders in 2012. In 2013, he led the league in gross yards per punt, and 1 year later, he was tops in the NFL in both punting yards and total punts, numbers that set single-season franchise records for the silver and black. He also mixed up his skill set with his knack for celebrations and dances following his punts.
And here in the Bay Area today, King, whoa! Back to the 7, a hang of 4-3, sends up a rocket.
Mariani awaiting the punt from Marquette King. This is a good punt from Marquette King. It's a little too good. All the way through the end zone, a 72-yard punt.
Brett Kern, I'll see your 62-yarder and hit you a 72-yarder. Wow.
That's a career long for King.
Watch this punter, Marquette King. He's known to do dances after he punts.
And the king has arrived. He joins this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN right now with your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream edition of Listen In with KNN, presented right here on our home station, Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Back for another week. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you all have had a great week. Thus far, we're in for a very exciting show. I'm excited to get started. Training camp is underway. I'm talking to a guy who knows football just pretty well. He's played a lot of years in it and knows his stuff. We are going to talk all things HBCUs and football and lots going on. But before I get started, I have to wish a happy birthday to my grandpa, Bob. Love you so much. Hope you're enjoying the day. And also to Jennifer King, Washington football's very own. I love to give birthday shout outs. Leo's happy birthday month. I think us Cancer set the tone. But again, happy birthday to all those out there. And without further ado, before I get started, I do want to show love to NABJ happening this week. CBS News, CBS Sports, love the booth that you had. Everybody enjoying NABJ. I hope you all are having a good time. Again, so much great content going on. NABJ, NAHJ, virtual this year, but we still made it work. All right, so without further ado, let me bring on my very special guest, none other than public figure Marquette King. Marquette, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I saw you vibing with the music. I love that.
Yeah, I was going to start hitting shuffle. If you would have played a little longer, I would have been dancing here.
Look, next time you come to this show, we're going to have to do live music and just have a dance. I'm not mad at it, but I'm so excited to have you on. And I know music is something that you know pretty well because you're doing music yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, it's super fun. It's very therapeutic, and it's what I've been working on pretty hard. I actually had a song that dropped this morning, so.
Oh, this morning. How perfect is that timing?
Heck yeah. So it's about
some insight to that song. Do we get a little sample or anything? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Man, shoot. Oh, I mean, it's a little interesting because the song is about the things that have occurred the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's, especially when it comes to being an artist, you talk about what's going on around the world and everything, and just address the issues and stuff, and people's feelings and emotions. So that song kind of talks about that. So I don't know if you want to hear a sample of that right now.
Look, you are a guy that's made for the spotlight. That's why I asked the question, because I knew if anybody could handle it, it was you, Marquette. So if you want to drop it for us, you have a lot of live viewers listening. I don't think we mind it. We'd be happy at it.
Hey, I mean, shoot, it's a little, I mean.
I know I put you on the spot.
Man, I don't think y'all ready for that yet. But I'm telling you, if you got Apple or Spotify, go to Marquette King. That's the name of the artist. Yep. And check it out. It's called HKS. It's fire.
Nice. I love it. Like, after this show, that's the exact place that I'm going to, because I could not.
You gotta play it. You gotta play it.
I'm excited. I'm ready for everybody to start wearing it as they go to training camp. So excited for it. And Marquette, when I first start the show, I always like to ask guests, because as you said, these last couple of months have been tough for a lot of us. So I want to ask on your well-being. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Like, give me the rundown.
I actually feel overall really good. I definitely have ups and downs just because of how I feel like, from my point of view, how the football thing kind of goes. It can be really stressful because going from being an All-Pro to XFL to like still waiting for a call can be very aggravating. So I can have my ups and downs with it, but something that keeps my head above everything is just having family, my cousin, and people I can talk to. Or I got like a little piano. I got my little drum set over here. Like, I can just do whatever.
I would have had you come on with that.
Man, it would have been a whole one-man band out there.
I love it. Talking about bands, you know a little something about bands as an HBCU graduate, right?
Yeah. Hey, people go to the games to pay attention more to the band than the actual team. So, yeah.
As a player, how did that make you feel?
It was tight. Like, you got to hear it. You know what? Anytime you hear a band when you're playing a football game, it just gives you this weird feeling. You also get chills because, like, good music. Anytime I hear good music, I get chills. I'm sure you probably do too, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Look, I'm from the DMV. We know a little something about music, so.
You love repping out there.
I do. Look, I don't think there's any better place than here. Of course, I'm biased, but there's no place like the district. And while we're on it, any favorite DC memories for you, Marquette?
Let me see. I guess in the 6th grade when we took this Amtrak train from Georgia all the way up to DC to go check out some of the buildings and stuff up there. But other than that, I don't think my memories in DC were that good because I lost both games anytime we played up there. So
sorry, we tend to do that, but it's
get out of here.
But all things considered, again, I'm so happy to have you on. And I really do appreciate you touching on that. I don't think a lot of us know what that experience is like you said. I mean, going from the NFL to kind of asking, what's next? Because you've had a magnificent career. You did something that we don't get to see many people like you do. And for those that don't know, King kicked for the Oakland Raiders between 2012 and 2017, one season with the Denver Broncos in 2018. But let's start with that Raiders experience. I mean, just overall, just what that meant for you to be a Black punter in the league for an organization like the then Oakland Raiders, right? I had to put that in there.
It was cool because obviously when I had to do research, because first of all, I did not know the Raiders were an actual NFL team because all I knew was the Atlanta Falcons, Michael Vick, and I didn't have a favorite team. I wasn't really into sports like that, maybe Space Jam. But when I went to the Raiders, I did my research and I noticed that the Raiders were one of the first teams to ever do a lot of things as far as like racially having a different kind of coach, having different players with different personalities, different characteristics about each person. And they really believed in people being themselves. And it was like the perfect fit without me even knowing what was going on. And man, it was one of my favorite places to ever play at. And I know that kind of sounds cliche, but it was real because I like dressing up. Sometimes if I have enough glasses of wine, I want to dress up in my green Power Ranger costume or my unicorn onesie. So like people really, it was a lifestyle out there, and the fan support was just awesome. Yeah. So I was just crushed when I got let go. I was crushed. Like I didn't know it at the time though. Like I'll be okay. Screw that. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
But I know I was just getting like, it just sucked.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to go from anything, right? Especially a game that you love, a game that you worked so hard to go to. You became infamous for those famous celebrations that you did. I mean, you made the game just fun. Like, talk about those celebrations. I mean, was that a reflection of the Oakland community and for the Oakland fans? Or what was that like? Because I know researching you were kind of shy, right? That way back when. We can't tell that now. So, I mean, where did these celebrations come from?
I mean, I've always celebrated, even when I played in college. At the same time, I don't know, it just because you work so hard at what you do, and when you finally get the results that you've been working for that whole week, because they make you practice all freaking day.
Yeah,
you should celebrate that. You have a right to celebrate that. It don't matter what position you're in. And it's just like I tell a lot of other people, just because you do one thing in life doesn't corner you to be just that. You don't just live that. Like, we live our lives to be more than just one thing. And I'm sure you're gonna, when you're done doing what you do, you're gonna end up doing something to making an impact in a different kind of way. So but yeah, I'm like, anybody has the right to celebrate. Just because my label is a punter, I mean, I'm still an athlete. I can still do a lot of things that other people do. So I mean, I feel like, I don't know, it's just fun. Like, when you get the results you're looking for and make plays and see that you're making the other team struggle, that's a really good feeling.
Yeah, I love that, because I feel like you said, I feel like we think of punters. It's weird, but like, we don't think it's supposed to go with them, right? And I think about here in Baltimore, the person that comes to mind, kicker Justin Tucker. He's got an infamous now here. Have you seen any of his dances?
That boy's silly.
He's pretty good too. We've been doing the baby and everything, and it's exciting. And I think, he brings a breath of fresh air. He's different in himself, an opera singer, and some of the other things. And I think that was what people loved about you. You just brought this different individuality, and mind you, you weren't probably what people pictured as a punter, right? Being an African American male. So I mean, at one time the only African American male punter in the league. What did that mean to you? What weight did that make you carry?
Man, I never really looked at it like that. I kind of, I don't know. I never really looked at the color part. At the same time, I don't know. I just feel like it was just normal for me. I think when I first was getting into the league, I thought it was going to be an issue, but like, I don't know. I kind of saw myself as the same, but I knew I stood out because I just looked different than everybody else. And I didn't mind it either. Like, I'm willing to accept any challenge that comes my way. And I mean, it is what it is. I see, as long as I can punt and as long as I can do my job, then that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And I think that's what's exciting. The reason I ask you that, though, is because, I mean, we look at history, right? The first black punter in the NFL, 1977, former Minnesota Viking Greg Coleman. And, he basically explained that, like, if punters don't break into the league quickly and are not paid well, then they often must fall back on other jobs, right? So that's something that's kind of a disadvantage. And then you look at, African Americans make up 7 out of every 10 NFL players. And, they dominate certain positions. We're talking about year of the black quarterback now, but I guess for you, I'm just wondering, are really many out there, young kids looking up to you? Will we ever be talking about year of the black punter, year of the black kicker? I mean, do you think that day will ever come? We see it happening with quarterbacks now. Do you think it's a transition?
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because, man, I know it was a struggle at first for black quarterbacks to be a thing in the NFL, and you don't see many black punters in the NFL. And I don't know. Greg Coleman's my guy. I talk to him all the time. Anytime I got any issues or whatever, or anytime I'm a little down about what's going on or whatever. But yeah, I know it's still got to be some kind of, I don't know, we still got a ways to go as far as getting in that position where it'll be more black punters in the NFL. And it can definitely happen because it's a lot of, I think, black kickers and punters that are motivated. And if I was the one to motivate them or anybody else, that's super cool. And I'm super thankful for what I did. But shoot, man, I still, I got more years to come. I know something else is gonna happen. So
I love that. I love your positive attitude. And again, I talk about this just because I think it's something that needs to be shed light on. It's a big issue. We're looking at it in college. The Undefeated actually had recently looked into diversity at the punter position, and they had spoke with college kicker Presley Harvin. And as of January 2020, 900 scholarships at the position, right? At that position, Harvin and Oregon State's Caleb Lightborn are currently the only 2 black college kickers in college football as of January 2020. 900 scholarships in 2. You guys can do the math. Like, that's crazy, right? And so we're trying to create pipelines. How can we create a pipeline when we have those numbers?
I mean, I don't know. I really don't understand. You know what? During this whole quarantine thing, me sitting here at the house, having all this time on my hands, I'm like, man, now I really don't understand what it is because, like, I mean, I'm sure done a little research, and I don't really like bringing up what I've done, accomplished, but just being an all-pro, some of the goals and stuff I've accomplished, and the fact that I haven't gotten hit up yet, which is very interesting to me. It's just weird how things happen, how things are working. It's a lot of good black punters and kickers I've seen. Even when I played at Fort Valley State, it was some good punters and kickers that I thought should have gotten a chance too. So it's kind of, I don't know what it is. It's just weird, especially 900 scholarships and 2 black kickers.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I'm just stating the numbers. And I love that you brought up, your college career at Fort Valley State. Going to an HBCU in Georgia, I want to talk about that. But also, before we get there, you had to transition to punter, right? That wasn't what you were originally doing. And I think that's magnificent that you were able to do what you did, having to switch positions and then excel in it and get to the NFL from an HBCU. So many just different check marks to go. So talk about your experience switching positions and, how you were able to really get your skills right at an HBCU.
My coach at the time, because being at an HBCU, a lot of black folks don't really think about kicking or punting the ball. It's more skill position, other positions where they feel like you can make a big impact in, when ultimately whatever position you play, you can still make an impact. The coach at the time, Pittman, I started off as a receiver. I was running routes, doing drills and everything. He comes in and he's like, all right, well, we see that you can punt real good, so you should stay at punter, or you can play receiver, and we're just going to take your scholarship from you. And I'm like, man, I'll just dress up as a receiver, act like a receiver, and punt the ball then. So,
you had to make it work, right? Scholarships, look, student loans are a real thing. You were on scholarship.
I know. The student loans ain't no joke.
Let me tell you, they sent me the email already that my September payment will soon be due. So no joke to that. But I got to applaud you for what you're doing. And then we talked kind of about the HBCU experience. And now we kind of see HBCUs back in the limelight and headlines, with top recruits considering HBCUs. Here in DC, we of course had Kayla Newton, had Howard. I know he's since transferred. But do you think this movement of top recruits, star athletes going to HBCUs, as an HBCU alum, a grad, what would you say for athletes out there to possibly consider going to these magnificent colleges and universities?
Man, I don't know. That's a really interesting question, but I feel like, I don't know.
I know I put you on the spot, but think about your experience, right? Do you think your experience would have been the same had you went to a predominantly white institution?
It would have definitely been harder. I think personally, Harvin, he's in a very unique position, especially being at a school like Georgia Tech. It's hard I know it's hard. If I'm still at the crib right now, I know it's hard for a black specialist to be seen. So he's in a very unique situation, and my experience at the HBCU was so fired up. I definitely probably wouldn't have had the same opportunity that I had at Fort Valley State. But I feel like being at an HBCU kind of added the Mike Larry seasoned salt to my I got a little more flavor. Yeah.
That's awesome. Again, I appreciate you touching on that. And again, it's a hot topic now as we talk about, just diversity. And again, just making sure that these schools are prepared. And as we talk about HBCUs and sports, I might as well touch on it now. COVID-19, a real thing, we're hopefully masking up and doing, safe measures, social distancing. I want to get your thoughts. Do you think we see college athletics, some preparing to go back and play? What are your thoughts overall? Would you like to see sports come back? Do you think it's safe? Are we moving too soon? Just kind of give me your 411 on everything that's happening around COVID in sports.
I think it'll be nice to see sports come back. Yeah. At the same time, I think everybody's health and wellness is way more important than any of that, because, if nobody's healthy, then all this status that everybody has and these positions that everybody have won't matter, because you won't be allowed to be in it, I definitely caught it twice, and it's not a good feeling.
Wow.
It's not a good feeling. It sucks, especially when you're trying to play Call of Duty and you can't taste your chocolate cookies while you're trying to play video games. But
we need those chocolate chip cookie taste. I feel you.
We need them chocolate cookies when you're in that tough war zone situation on the PlayStation. But I think everybody's health and wellness is way more important. But if they got a safe game plan, a strategy about how they're going to take care of players, I think that'll be cool. That'll be super cool.
Because I know it's a big question, because of course in the NFL, it seems like every day you cut on the news or go on social media, you see yet another player, saying, hey, I'm not going back. I don't feel safe. I don't think it's safe for my family. And with that, we're all asking, we're trying to prepare for the NFL season. We hope it still goes on. But do you think there's any lessons maybe that the NFL can learn from the NBA, since somehow miraculously in this bubble, we're still at 0 COVID cases?
I mean, obviously you can see that the NBA they're really good at how they handle a lot of things. I think they're one of the main athletic associations that a lot of franchises and organizations look at as far as when it comes to bookmark of how to do it, so the NBA, whatever they're doing, that's really good. It's definitely been, I don't know, let's see, we stopped, I think they cut our season in half after we played DC.
Yeah.
Right, like 2 days after that, right, we got our whole season cut. So they had a long time to prepare and come up with some ideas. So, I mean, it's just interesting to see what they end up doing.
Yeah, and just going off of that, because I'm glad you brought that up, because that was what I wanted to talk about next, the XFL, right? Last play for the St. Louis Battlehawks of the XFL. Now we're back in the news with The Rock and his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, bringing it back up. It just is, I guess, the gift that just keeps on giving. And we'll see if things happen. But XFL comes back. You're in there. Talk about your experience overall with that team and what it meant for you to continue your development as a player.
My XFL experience was a struggle at first. I definitely did not want to do it. I didn't feel like I deserved to be in the XFL. I also felt like, I mean, it's players in positions where, I don't know, some people get in weird positions, and I didn't feel like I did anything to be in that position. But me and my agent at the time had a talk, and he was like, man, the best thing you can do is get into XFL and prove that you can still do it.
Right.
I don't know if it was a rumor going around or whatever or whatnot, saying that I wasn't taking football serious, but I've never taken a game serious in my life because it's a game. So the best thing to do was to get in the XFL. I got in the XFL, and it was a little weird at first, because it's like, all right, well, you go from I don't know, the way you get treated in NFL versus XFL was very college-like.
Wow.
And sometimes when they would ask us to do certain things, I'm like, my specialty is so-and-so. Can I work out toward my specialty or whatever? But they were very like, I don't know, they set back a little bit. They listened to the players and everything. So it was pretty cool. And just that whole experience was pretty different, but I had so much fun. It was probably the funnest league I played in.
Nice.
NFL. Yeah, because they encourage you to be yourself. They encourage you to have fun. They were just about good times and interacting with fans and media and stuff. So it was super cool.
Everyone loves that. A league that's fun, interactive. When y'all are nice to us media members, we also love, to just get that story out and connect with fans. And you're getting a lot of questions. I usually wait to save them for the end, but I'm going to do some of them now. Yeah. Everybody wants to hear from you. So I love this question. Would you consider a return to St. Louis?
Oh, man, as much fun as I had, I kind of got my mindset on no. I know where I belong. I belong in the NFL, and I only did the XFL to prove that I can still do it. I still got love for the St. Louis fans, though. They show ridiculous amounts of love, and I definitely want to go back. And I've been working on my DJing, so I kind of want to throw a party or something out there just to show my appreciation to the fans. It was we had a lot of fun. I just had fun with that, but I can't see me going back to the XFL because I did what I had to do to prove that I can still play in the NFL. So, yeah.
That's very valid. And as we talk about that, here's another question from a fan. Your most memorable moment in the NFL?
My most memorable moment in the NFL. Man, it was a lot of good moments, but I don't know. It was a lot of them. I guess when we beat the Chiefs, it was like my third year in the NFL, and we just no. That was a good. No. My most memorable moment in NFL.
We're not holding you to one.
I know, Sarasota, Florida. We stayed in Sarasota for a week, but when we played the Jacksonville Jaguars and I took off on the run, that was one of my favorite times.
Look, always a good one. Always a good one. I appreciate you touching on that. And again, I love your positivity because again, I know you're navigating back. You're trying to figure out this for the first time probably in your career, where you're in this position. But
Yeah.
I think what you're touching on is so important because there's other players like you in the same position, trying to navigate back. And that's why I think you sharing your story is of the utmost importance. It's like I wish you could see all these comments, Marquette, that you're getting because everybody really, really likes you. Look. They even want you to come back, but you already kind of said your eyes are on the next prize. I just wanted you to see that. So as we talk about you and just your overall football career, I mean, how do you want people most to just remember you and just your legacy in football overall, both the NFL and the XFL?
I just want people to see me as a person that's not scared to be myself and just live life. That's what it's all about. I think a lot of people, and I feel like COVID's exposed a lot of things, but I think it's all about a lot of people try to live their life because of how they want others to perceive them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about being yourself and having fun and enjoying yourself because what's the purpose of being on earth if you're not enjoying yourself or living?
That's true.
So I just want people to, I don't know, anytime people see me, and I feel like anybody that has a jersey of mine or whatever, like they're the unicorns in this world. Like they're all about just living life and the fullest.
I love that because again, I think you're my spirit animal, honestly. Because like you, I'm usually this person that's positive and always smiling. I tell people we all go through things, but you know what? Each day is a different day. I'm blessed to be alive and happy, and I think that's the fun thing about life. It's a journey. It's a journey. Like you don't know what's coming next. I wouldn't believe maybe where I am now, but you keeping that positive spirit again, I think, and I would like to think that probably even makes you a better player, right? Because it's a lot harder to play when you have so much on your mind. That's kind of my mind now. Like I can't imagine players now worrying about their health, worrying about their families, worrying about the upcoming season if we're going to even have one and if they can still play to the best of their abilities because we're looking at it for you. Now, you've had some good workout videos online. I even saw a cute one with a dog in arm and doing your thing. And it wasn't that thing you posted? Your dad asked you about how many reps you could do. Well, Dad, you see the body? Of course I'm repping. Talk about your workout regimen specifically during COVID-19.
So it's kind of hard sometimes because like instead of people telling you no or the gate having a sign saying don't come on, sometimes they'll water the field so much you can't do nothing on it. I used to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, get my workouts out the way, my kicking, my running, my agility stuff, my weightlifting. And I do all that. I'll be done by like 10:30, 11 o'clock in that morning, brunches.
Wait, to 10:30?
Yeah.
Wow.
In between all that time, I'm driving around. I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like I'm over here.
I'm like, there we go. That sounds more reasonable.
Yeah. You have a little drive time in between.
And then I'm done.
No, well, people don't know either that you don't really have to do a bunch of crazy workouts to be prepared. Like I do a lot of interesting stuff, simple too, but things that get me prepared for my position.
So how did the dog help you prepare for the position? I mean, what was that workout preparing you for?
It got me to, that was one of those days where I'm like, man, I'm tired of trying to because at one point I was like, man, should I just keep posting these serious workouts and whatnot?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, screw this. I'm finna just live, man. Like,
yeah.
I'm telling you, like 2 weeks ago, I just hit this wall where I was just like, man, screw this. I'm finna just live, and whatever happens, happens. If it don't, I'm gonna just keep moving with my life.
Yeah, I love that. Keep on moving with your life. Again, that's what you've been doing. We'll take another question from a live listener. He asked, did you ever study guys like Reggie Robbie as a punter? I'm sure you did. So while you're on that question, why don't you just talk about any punters that you looked up to and studied to improve your game?
Let's see. I didn't really start paying attention to other punters that much until I started getting closer, until I started seeing that it was serious. One of the people were Mike Cyphers. He was actually really good at what he did. And, man, I would just watch him in person. Or I think I watch more of myself, though, than anything.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. You have to critique yourself, right?
You gotta study yourself and get better yourself. Like everybody has their different body size and body shapes and everything, sizes. Greg Coleman he probably had a different body size compared to Reggie Roby. Reggie Roby was a little bigger, and the way he punted the ball wasn't the same way that Coleman hit the ball. The way I hit the ball isn't the same way. I mean, the way I look, way different. So, I mean, everybody's different. So you just got to study study and understand yourself so you can learn how to execute it. But it's certain things that you can take from other punters and add to your game too.
Right, to learn. I think that's what it is, right? You study those, but then it's still your game. It's what makes you unique. And again, this is why we look up to you and what you were doing. And on that, you actually caused a little trouble on social media back in June, well, rugby Twitter. When you had tweeted, if I played rugby, I would dominate it easily. So I want to touch on that. Was this serious? Was this a game? Did you mean to get those people up in arms, Marco?
Come on now. First of all, I don't know who takes Twitter serious unless it's coming from like a news feeder account or whatever. But like,
yeah,
it was also one of those nights where I had like 2 glasses of wine. Also when I saw that people started getting butthurt about it, I was like, I'm gonna this tweet up there. I'm gonna make them think I'm really serious about this because honestly, I don't even pay attention to sports. Honestly, I just saw it on TV and I was like, oh wow. If I played rugby, I'd dominate it easily. And I'd send it to you. Just a moment thing. And people started getting all wild about it. And rugby players started reaching out. Oh, I do so-and-so to you. I'm like, okay.
Ooh. Oh, my gosh.
Good job. And pressure little followers and stuff. I'm over here chilling.
I appreciate you touching on that. I was like, why is everybody coming for his mentions? But again, you just cleared the air. You said you were drinking wine. Can I ask, was it red or white?
It was red. Cabernet. I'm a Cabernet person.
There we go. Look, there we go. I love you touching on that. But now to just kind of transition to just more serious times. Black Lives Matter, of course, from the aftermath of George Floyd's death. We see so much happening in the cause of racial justice. Well, really after racial injustice. We're fighting for racial justice. It's been around for a long time. I thought something significant that you did was, again, using Twitter, using social media, you were able to mobilize a group of Phoenix area residents to clean up a downtown area after a night of peaceful protest turned destructive. Just talk about why was that so important for you to do and what did you learn through that experience?
Well, my dad was an officer for over 20 years. And just knowing that my dad was an officer and knowing how emotional people were, especially after that. And it bothered me a little bit to see that video. But I felt like if people, usually when you want to get your point across, if your neighbor's doing something to piss you off, you don't break your own stuff. And that's the point I was trying to get across. Like, you don't tear up your own city. Like, you find a strategic way to get your point across or get a message across, but not by tearing up your own stuff. Yeah. And I was like, sometimes I think because all police officers aren't bad people. It's a couple, like some of the ones that don't know how to put the ego aside and everything. It's usually those that gotta show that they the man or whatever. And man, they just gotta weave out those bad apples and it'll be better. But it's always gonna be somebody that doesn't belong in it. But my goal was to just get people together. I try to invite officers to come out because I think what people want to see is that they're personable, just like they are. Just like
that community policing. I feel like it's what people are asking for, right? When police kind of hand in hand with the community, know what's going on in the community. And I think what you said was important. You don't want to see anything destroyed, but you kind of want to challenge on that just a bit, because as we know, there's also been reports of people kind of trying to hijack the Black Lives Matter movement and kind of being these unwildy or whatever people inside the crowds actually causing the destruction. So do you think that's kind of what's been happening when we see these unpeaceful protests?
Yeah, I think so. Some people have an objective that's totally opposite of what everybody's trying to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, all people are the most powerful people in the world when they work together.
Yeah.
And all people have to do is just work together and just handle those bad seeds that are out there tearing up stuff when everybody else is not trying to do that. They're just trying to get their point across peacefully.
Yeah. And so just staying on that, do you think the reforming the police or defunding the police, do you think that's the answer? Or do you think it's just more training that's needed, with police officers in the community? What would be your answer, as we see kind of all this unrest still in this country and this big racial divide?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's just training, because I feel like officers train all the time, but like it's different. Like just like football, you can train all you want, but like when it comes down to it, if you can either how to handle it under pressure or you don't, and everybody can't handle things under pressure. But you just gotta find the people. You just gotta talk to people, try to get as deep as possible with them to try to unplug and see what's really going on mentally with some of these people that are in those positions of power, because some people can disguise it, but if you can go deep enough with them and analyze what you talked about with them and see if they're about that weird stuff, then you'll be able to take them out, you know?
Yeah. Again, I appreciate you touching on that. Just kind of saying.
That's kind of what that song I just dropped last night or this morning was about.
I love see again why people need to go listen to it. He told y'all where to listen, so make sure y'all listen.
Yeah.
Again, I think we all need that. And like I think music has always been great to just. I mean, sports has kind of been that, right? To kind of give us this relief or talk about, if you're having a type of day, you go to a tailgate, you go to a game, you kind of unwind. I think music is that for so much of us, and why we relate to it. But stay on the Black Lives Matter, Marquette. I want to ask you, as a Black man in America, when you watch the killing of George Floyd, I know you said it was kind of hard to watch, and just you and your daily life and with where you live. I mean, do you feel safe? Do you feel protected?
I feel safe. At the same time, because I fear no man at all. But I definitely feel safe where I'm at as of right now. I pray every once in a while, make sure I'm in good hands and everything. But I mean, I've definitely been pulled over and profiled for no reason several times, even when I was in the NFL. So, I mean, it is people out there that has to watch their back and everything. Like, yeah, but I've definitely been profiled before. So, but I still feel safe. I mean, when I get pulled over, I just don't try to get smart with nobody. I just have a regular conversation.
Yeah. I think what you're saying is important because I think that's what so many parents are asking, like, how do you teach your kids these interactions with police? I think what you're saying is, was that something you were taught or was that something you learned? And like you say, not to get smarter.
I was taught it. I was kind of taught it. Just respect the officer or whatnot. You don't have to get loud with them. You don't have to be smart with them. Just whatever they ask for, just give it to them. But there's some officers that press that envelope so hard, especially watching some of the videos.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of I haven't encountered anybody, officer that's been an a-hole.
Okay.
Probably one time. Probably one time.
Again, because I think we're all just trying to figure out how do we move forward. We're all hurting as a country, and we're just looking for ways to move forward. So again, I appreciate you touching on that. I know it's a difficult subject, and again, I think all that's being asked for is change and kind of staying on diversity. I want to talk with you. I don't know if you saw the news, but Maryland's very own head coach Mike Loxley actually formed a group of minority football coaches. He was, of course, frustrated by the slow pace of minority hiring in college and professional football. Of course, this is his second year at the University of Maryland as head coach. And if you didn't hear, he announced the creation of the National Coalition of Minority Football Coaches. It seeks to identify and groom coaches of color, male and female, towards upward mobility. So I'm going to talk with you. First, do you have any African-American head coaches in your football career?
College or both?
Both. We'll do both.
Definitely at Fort Valley State. Who else? I've had
think about it. Lets me know that it's a problem.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. It's definitely a problem. It's some coaches that you got DB coaches like Ken Norton Jr. You got like Coach Gilmore, the receiver coach that was coaching with the Raiders when I was there.
Yep.
But yeah, they could do better.
Think about it. So, and you said they have to think. They have to do better. So, just in your mind, I mean, why do you think there is a lack of opportunity for minority head coaches? And let's say in all ranks, not just professional.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably be able to give a better explanation when I retire.
Yeah. Are we gonna see you in coaching? Maybe you dropping something on this show?
No. I'm not. Once I'm done with football, I'm out. I do not want to see it, hear it, nothing.
Nowhere near it, right? It's so interesting to know. You said earlier you're not watching any sports now, so no NBA restart or anything. Really, nothing.
No, I'm telling you, like I'm just so aggravated with sports just because of the position I'm in right now. So like,
yeah,
I don't know. And I've also never been really interested in it like that. But
you're just focused. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I just had to ask, because many of us were counting down until sports were back. Did you at least watch The Last Dance? Did we get some of that? Because it makes sense.
I haven't even seen that yet.
You haven't seen The Last Dance yet?
Mm-mm.
I feel like you were probably the only person probably in America that hasn't seen it yet. Well, again, I understand, your point and what you're trying to do next, obviously, with getting back to the NFL. So to those out there, I mean, that maybe are, looking at you, considering you or not considering you, what message would you have to them about why you deserve that spot?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I mean,
I mean, maybe
I feel like I got a track record for it. I don't know what else to say. I got a track record for it.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to do. I did exactly what I was supposed to do when I was in those positions to make that difference, to show people that I'm ready to, or I'm good enough to be back in. But like, other than that, it's beyond me. I honestly don't know what's holding it back, but it is what it is.
Because you have a love for the game. Okay, I've really enjoyed this interview with you. Again, I appreciate your time. I want to go back really quick before I let you go to the music scene. We had a question, I have to find it, but any musical artists that you would want to collab with?
Calvin Harris.
Who was it?
Calvin Harris.
Nice. Any others?
Let's see. Maybe Will.i.am. I like party music, like day party music that you would hear when you in Vegas, or like a day party scene or something like out here in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
I love music that makes you feel happy music.
It makes you move, right?
The only time I make a hip hop song is when I feel a certain type of way. So like when you hear the hip hop songs that I got in my little catalog, you hear the message, you'll be able to tell.
Who were some of your favorite musical artists as you were coming up?
I like Future a lot. Future was good. I mean, I listened to a lot of hip hop when I was in college because that's all I knew at the time.
Yeah.
But like when I moved to California, I started listening to more Calvin Harris. Who else? Black Eyed Peas. Ellie Goulding.
Yeah.
Like a lot of different artists that I've never heard before. But just because the music makes me feel happy, puts me in a happy place.
I love that. In a happy place. We'll take a couple more questions from fans before I let you go, because I know you got to get back to the training and everything.
Oh, I'm feeling.
All right. So thoughts. I know we kind of touched on it, but let's talk specifically about The Rock and that acquisition. Thoughts on The Rock buying the XFL? Any feelings or emotions towards that move? Not at all. Are you a Rock fan? Are you a Rock fan?
I never watched wrestling like that. I know who he is, though. He's the guy that never dies in movies.
We can't kill The Rock. Come on, you know better. He's the star. That's why we pay him the big money.
No, I haven't really been keeping up with. I heard about that move being made, but like other than that, it's good for him. I'm happy for him. Vince McMahon definitely started something really good.
Yeah.
And XFL, I'm glad that the XFL is back to help other people get into the NFL, because a lot of people deserve a chance.
Yeah. So you feel like the XFL is just a good next step for those guys who want to make it to the pros.
Yeah, they get a lot of exposure too, so it's super cool. It's a really good thing for a lot of players that haven't gotten a fair shot at getting to the NFL. It's cool. Hopefully, it can expand into a league where it can be like a league kind of like the NFL too.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think some people are hoping, or others are saying, like a minor league system, because of course you look at other sports that have that. And people are saying, many people will say that college has kind of been that minor league system for a long time for the NFL. Do you feel that way? I mean, are you properly prepped in college for that next level, or do you think it's the coaching in the NFL that kind of helps players succeed in the league?
I mean, it's one of those things where when you come out of college and you go to the NFL, it's like it forces you to grow up, because as much as I wanted to revert back to my old way of kicking, if I was to revert back to my old way of kicking, I wouldn't be there. And it just forces you to grow a little faster. But I mean, how would you not grow if there's no uncomfortableness,
That's powerful if there's no uncomfortableness, right? Because we're all challenged. And and I think it's hard, right? When you're so used to status quo. I mean, I would say the times we're in now is an uncomfortableness, right? Especially for athletes. You weren't able to go to those big fancy gyms anymore. And if you didn't have a gym in your house, maybe you're in your small city apartment, trying to make things work, kids running around and things like that. And I think, if anything, this is going to help us all get stronger. You see players, we're talking about like Marquise Brown for the Baltimore Ravens, gained 23 pounds of muscle during COVID-19, right? So you have players like that, and then you see others, it's skinny mellow, and then you see others that that might not be in as much shape as they were before. So I think it really showed like who did what, to succeed and make those next steps. So while we're on the NFL, I do want to ask you, since it's been a crazy just off season, I do want to ask you this question because we talked about Black Panthers when it comes to Black quarterbacks, and actually I got a question earlier. I'm so mad I didn't put this up. Were you ever mad about your Madden rating?
Hell yeah. It's like the people that make Madden, I'll be wondering, do they ever go to like the practices and actually watch the players that they're rating?
Yeah.
Are they just basing it off of popularity on that team? Because I've been on the team with some really good players that were really fast and their speed was like 60, 70. I'm like, they never came to practice to see this person run before a catch.
Yeah.
And it's just all about opportunity. Like, man, the people that rate the Madden rating, like, it's terrible.
So on that, just with ratings and things of that nature, we saw recently Lamar Jackson, of course, got rated by fellow players as number 1. And some people took offense to that, saying, well, hey, Patrick Mahomes just won a quarterback, just got that mega, ridiculous contract. So, when you think about things like that, have you enjoyed kind of watching just the emergence of Black quarterbacks in the NFL and just kind of how everyone's talking about them?
No, that's definitely good. It's definitely a movement. It's definitely been a process from McNabb to Vic to Aaron Brooks. Some of those quarterbacks from back when. So it's definitely that movement has definitely went forward. Now we just got to work on the punter and kicking position.
And we're looking at you. We're working on it, and we want more to come behind. And you're right. But I think we both see that. I think we're seeing an increase in diversity. My worry, I'll be honest with you, is that we do see more people pulling their kids out of football, wondering about if it's still safe. Of course, we see the concussion issue, right? And we see less use. And look, you made a face on it, so I might as well ask you about it. What do you feel about that issue?
I feel like when people go into football, they kind of know what they're signing up for. You're putting yourself at risk.
Yeah.
So, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. And you know what you signed up for. But that's, I don't really know what else to say, because if you want to play the game, you're going to play the game. Like,
some people like football, let's be honest, right? Yeah. We live for those big hits, right? It's what makes it such a different sport. But, again, I think they're trying to create those pipelines to keep football being the king that it is in America. But I think, I understand parents' concerns, but as you said, I think the NFL is going in the right steps to make it a safer game for you all, because of course we want everybody to just live long, healthy lives after football. And before I let you go, I do want to get you this question, because I want you to be able to show your hometown love. They want to know where you were born and bred and raised. Why don't you give your hometown some love?
Shout out to Macon, Georgia. Macon, Georgia Peach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any special memories from growing up there, and did it play a part in just your overall identity today?
It played a part in as far as my work ethic. Like, I'd be so bored sometimes at the house where I'll just work out, kick, and just do little stuff.
Yeah.
I had a lot more memories in Cali, and like just on this side, it's different. But it definitely, like, especially being at home, it definitely adds to what you are. But I think the thing that really added a lot was just being at a HBCU. Yeah.
And I'm sure you learned a lot about yourself there, and just you as a person. I feel like that's always what I hear from people who attend HBCUs. Like, this is really where I found myself. I was able to be around like-minded people and really have that cultural experience. I think that's you see somebody like Chris Paul, who's trying to bring attention to HBCUs. He just rocked the real HU, the Howard Bison gear on game day. And you see many even current athletes saying, hey, you know what? I wish I would have went to the HBCU, because there's nothing like it. The homecomings and just everything else. You don't get that, or maybe even having something simple as a Black professor in your experience, right? Not everybody gets that. I think it's of particular just importance. And again, I think that's why it's so important for players like you to talk about that and hopefully inspire that next generation to go there, because it's about keeping that pipeline alive, especially during times like now where we see things closing, making sure that those HBCUs have what they need to succeed.
Yeah. Right? Yep.
So awesome. Well, before I let you go, just any last words for the listening audience?
Nah.
Pulled over a little goodbye, a musical goodbye.
Yeah, just vibe out with the tracks that just came out this morning. That's all. I ain't really got too much to say. I don't really talk. We
couldn't tell. No, but I appreciate you joining the show so much. I hope you will not be a stranger again. We truly wish you the best. And hopefully we're invited to this party that you mentioned may be happening in St. Louis. Listen in with KNN listeners and viewers getting that exclusive VIP invite.
gonna be popping anywhere where I'm at. The party's gonna be live.
Again, thank you so much for joining. Don't be a stranger. And again, we appreciate your time. Best wishes with everything, and please try to stay cool in that Arizona heat.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Have a great one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this live stream edition of Listen In with KNN. Thank you for everyone listening and viewing the show. I'm so sorry I couldn't get every comment or question in, but I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also check my page and website. I'll be having a couple major announcements of my own, so make sure you're following me on social media at The Real K Nelson and on Facebook at Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Each and every one of you truly do matter to me. I truly appreciate your support of this show, Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio. Could not do it without you. And special thanks to the Listen In with KNN team. Each and every week, you all are awesome. I've been at conference this week virtually, and you all have stepped up to the plate and made sure that we had another great show. Again, thank you so much for everyone listening, and I hope you all will join me back on Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great one. Stay safe. Remember to mask up. Bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.
You used to hear me on your airwaves or hear me on my hit podcast, but now I'm taking you to the screen. You'll love Elevator Thoughts. We will talk the latest trending in sports. It's game time. What better way to get to know those that visit the show than over some good food and drink? It's time for confessions.